In another sign that the world's political landscape is changing in favor of Russia, Egypt has agreed to allow the Russian military to use its airspace and air bases. If finalized, the agreement will give Russia its deepest presence in Egypt since 1973, when Cairo expelled the military of the former Soviet Union and became a U.S. ally. The U.S. says it has given Egypt more than $70 billion in aid in the 4 decades since. The cost is often justified in part by the argument that it secures the use of Egypt's airspace and bases for the American military. Egypt and American experts say the deal between Egypt and Russia is yet another sign of the waning influence of the United States.
Well, it's impossible to know at this point even the deal is not finalized, and it does seem to be reciprocal. It means that Egyptian planes could use Russian air bases. There's something in the works there. It might be routine. It's not routine. This was formerly a client state of the United States. Obviously, letting the Russians in the door changes the equation in a fairly major way, but it's not clear how much. Some people say that Russia could now be getting involved in Libya, as it did in Syria, and Egyptian air bases would be a necessary thing to use. But it might just be something that reflects warming relations between Egypt and Russia, which has been going on.
Critics of U.S. President Donald Trump blame what they call Trumplomacy for the diminishing of America's military and diplomatic footprint in the Middle East and the broader world.
Well, it certainly ruptures a relationship that's been very, very long-standing, like almost 40 years, and the United States has been the exclusive patron of Egypt. It's given Egypt about $1.3 billion a year in mostly military aid. It's a really important client state of the United States. You will remember that in the 1970s, Egypt had been a client state of the Soviet Union, and they dramatically kicked all the Soviet advisors out in mid-70s, after the Yom Kippur War, I believe. And so this really, it doesn't necessarily reflect a complete turnabout. We have to wait and see what happens.
Matthew Spence, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense under the Obama administration, has said, "Power abhors a vacuum, and when the United States pulls back, we can't be under the impression that the world is going to stand by and wait for us. The danger and the reality is that other countries will take advantage of the opportunity presented when America chooses to pull back." Many believe that the waning of the US global hegemony was already underway when Trump took office, and some blame former President Obama for the rise of Russia worldwide. News of the Russia-Egypt agreement came as the United States foreign policy is facing challenges from all corners. The US is engaged in an incessant war of words with North Korea, with Trump spearheading that war by vilifying his North Korean counterpart using non-diplomatic language. The US withdrew from the Middle East under Obama, and Trump's rush to return to the strategic region has worsened Washington's standing. While US internal politics is embroiled in infighting at home, Russia has been steadily moving forward with prudence in the international arena. Gamal Abdeljawad Sultan, a scholar at the Al-Ahram Center for Political and Strategic Studies in Cairo, says, "With the US in retreat, very few, if any, of the states in the region are willing to rely solely on alliance with the United States and depend on the United States as the insurance policy for their security. In contrast," he adds, "Russia has proven to be completely effective, and this has been attractive to regional nations."